Welcome back to the Flow Friday Sports Show, and we're going to the River Murray Netball Association now. Pat Brown, our correspondent in this league, is joining me, and she's going to tell us all about the blowout results from the weekend. Hi, Pat. Not exactly the tightest round we've seen in the River Murray Netball Association.
Yeah, hi, Dan. No, it wasn't. I think we both look a bit like gooses this week. Close games from last week.
Yeah, we thought there might be some close ones. But no, nothing in single digits. In fact, the closest margin was 16 goals. So why don't we start with that game? Might add as well, very high scoring round. And this was the highest scoring game too. Ramblers 68 over Jervois 52. Tell us about this one.
Both teams started really well in this game, and all goalies were performing exceptionally well, practically at 100% for both teams. So it gave the start of the game a very fast, accurate pace, but Ramblers started to capitalise on a couple of areas towards the quarter time to go into the quarter time break up by 7. Then Jervois made some very critical changes to their team, and they came out and actually won the second quarter by a goal, which would have made the kids feel very excited that they were in it with a chance. But Ramblers are too good, too experienced. They created the pressure, which made mistakes, and they went on to win it by 16 goals. So they would have been really happy that they had another win under their belt, but Jervois would have also walked away happy to know that they can be competitive with some of the best, bearing in mind that Ramblers currently sit second.
All right, so a good win for the Ramblers in that one over Jervois. Let's get on to the second tightest game of the weekend, even though it wasn't tight at all. Mallee Storm over Mypolonga 48-29. Interesting result here. We tipped this to be a close game, and we thought Mypo might get back on the winners list, but Mallee Storm way too good in Mypolonga.
Yeah, as you said, it should have been a close game. But Storm, they came out right from the word go. They were very bodily strong in the contest for the ball, far taller in the most positions across the court. Mypolonga, with the new younger players coming up, have a bit of a problem with not a lot of height through the centre court area. So it made it very hard for their defenders, who worked very hard through the whole game, to actually penetrate down into their goal circle. Of their 4 attacking players, only one was an established senior player. The other 3 were all young, so they've got a lot of learning to do. But, you know, little players, if they can't be seen, need to be heard. So these girls have got a bit of work to do. And Storm played with the same 7 for the whole game, which helped with stability. Mypo made a number of changes every break and used all 9 players. So they're still looking to find the right combos, and it's not ready for them yet. So they've got a bit of work to do between now and the end of this first round of games. So, I was a little bit surprised. I actually went and watched this game, and, they've got some problems. So they'll be working on it, but Storm would have thoroughly enjoyed the game.
All right, so Mypolonga slip to 1-3 on the season. Not a good start for the defending premiers.
No, not one they'd be used to.
No, and certainly not one they would have been expecting coming off the back of a premiership. Maybe it's just a premiership hangover, but we will wait and see. The score in that one was 48-29. The score in this next one, 49-28. The Imperials over Tailem Bend. Probably a result that was probably a bit more expected here.
It was expected. However, it was a very hard, slow slog to start with. The ball evidently went up and down the court a number of times before the first goal was scored, and Imps were only up by 2 at quarter time, which is a bit unusual for Imps against Tailem Bend. But when they came back on for the second quarter, they were very determined. I'd say that their coach, Carrie Daniels, gave them a bit of a talking to and would have revved them up a bit more. So they were ahead by 9 at half-time. Both teams made changes to try and lift their teams. Denise Edwards for Tailem would have been still looking to perfect those combinations. Imps were probably just trying to settle some other options for themselves when they do get pushed a bit harder. Tailem Bend's defenders worked really, really hard. In fact, they both were acknowledged in the best players, but they were on tall shooters. So the work was really, really hard for them. Imps would have settled into it in the third and fourth quarters. Although it was a loss to Tailem Bend, against Imps, it was a good, solid result for them moving forward.
And it was Mannum over the Coorong Cats, 61-27. We were interested to see how this one would go. Mannum needed to respond. The Coorong Cats have been in pretty good form this year, certainly relative to last year, but it looks like both teams getting back to 2023 habits with that scoreline.
Oh, yeah. I sort of anticipated this one could have even been close to a draw. Well, how wrong was I? I mean, Mannum started very, very strong. Their shooters were very, very accurate, and they were up 11 goals at quarter time. That is a hard result to come back on, and the Cats would have tried hard. They would have pushed as hard as they could, but Mannum would have had a sniff of, we're back to the heydays of when we had our top side and everything, and by half time, they were up 22 goals, and they would have been on a real high and a real flow. Intercepts across the centre court by Kelly McGorman and Amy Schultz, they say, were quite amazing and created a number of turnovers. So they would have felt really confident in that third and fourth quarter and, went on to a 34-goal win.
That wraps up the round 4 action. The Southern Suns had the bye. So let's start with their game going into round 5. They are hosting Mannum. Should be a good one.
Yes, this is 5 versus 4 currently as the premiership sits at the moment. So Mannum would have gained a lot of confidence with last week's win. However, the Suns will be refreshed and they'll be eager to get back on the court again. So this should be a good game, a mixture of height and experience across both sides. But accurate shooting will be the key, and that will all come down to the delivery of the ball into the goal ring first. With the amount of intercepts that both these teams have been displaying over the last couple of weeks through the centre court, it's the centre court that's going to have to make sure they deliver the ball accurately into the ring, and that will be the key. Get the ball past the goal centre third, into your ring, and these goalies for both teams are very accurate. Who am I going to pick? Well, it's the Suns' game, but I think Mannum will be on a high.
All right, tips in for Mannum, and to the game of the round, the Ramblers taking on the Imperials. It's a Ramblers home game, and it gives them a chance to move to the top of the ladder, but both of these teams undefeated at the moment.
Ramblers have had the bye, Imps are yet to have theirs, so this is second hosting first. So this will be the first really big test for both teams. They've both moved to settle their final combinations, which is good. But feeding in and around both goal circles will be the key for this game. Ramblers like to feel settled and comfortable in the positioning of their goalies, so they're not afraid to work the ball in and out, whereas Imperials love to be able to get the big balls into the goal circle. With tall goalies, that is possible for Imperials, but I think the pressure's going to be on through the centre court to create and capitalise on strong passing and errors. So all the work will be around the goal circle, getting the ball in. The defenders will have their work cut out for them, but I still think Imps will be too strong on the day.
All right, we'll race through these last couple of games because we're almost out of time. Tailem Bend hosting Maipolonga. Good chance for Maipo to get back on the winners list and get their season on track.
Yeah, well, both these teams are only on 2 points, so both of them will be looking for a good win. I'm actually going to say that I think Tailem Bend are probably the more settled of the two at the moment, and their players badly want a win. So this is their chance to take it up to Maipo. And after watching Maipo last week, I think Tailem Bend might come away with a win, but it'll be a close game, I believe.
All right, tip is in there. And lucky last, the Coorong Cats are on the bye, which leaves Jervois searching for their first win. They are playing the Mallee Storm in a Storm home game.
Yeah, Storm will be too bodily strong for the young Jervois players. Experienced players within Jervois will do their best to encourage the young players, but I can't see them getting over the top of Storm. Storm were very strong and very confident last week, so this will be another Storm win.
All right, round 5 shaping up as a good one. Looking forward to seeing who wins that top of the table clash. Good luck to everyone playing in the River Murray Netball Association this weekend. Thanks very much for your time, Pat. Looking forward to doing it again next Friday.
No worries. Thanks, Dan.